So check out this bolt together go-kart kit from Go Power Sports. So this kit requires no welding. So you have your frame rails, then your engine plate, all your brackets, wheels and tires, steering wheel, then you have all the hardware, which is marked, which will make things really easy, foot pedals, then you have your tie rod and spindle assembly, then your axle assembly, the sprocket and the brake, your cables, kill switch, then a 98cc engine, you got the clutch, the chain guard, the floor pan, the seat. So everything you need to build a complete go-kart without a welder. I watched the assembly video on this cart a couple weeks ago, so I'm gonna see if I can do it by memory. I mean, what could go wrong? So the frame rails and brackets in this kit come bare metal, so I went ahead and painted everything. So when you lay this stuff out, you gotta make sure that you get these center brackets in the correct spot. So you have one with 4 holes, and then one on top, so that one goes in the middle. And then your center bracket, which has 4 holes, but the side with the 2 holes closest together go to the left. And then your rear bracket has 5 holes, and the side with the 3 holes goes to the left. So pretty much all the brackets take 1 length bolt, but there are a couple here on the back that take a 60mm bolt. So here on the corner is where you use the longer 60mm bolts. And then the shorter ones on the back. And then the same on the motor plate side. The 2 longer 60mm bolts on the side here. And then everything else is the shorter bolts. So when you mount the front axle, you have to make sure that the top of your spindle is facing the rear of the cart, and these 2 holes are at the bottom. So for the brackets that go underneath, you have the 5-hole brackets for the front here, and then another 5-hole bracket. And then you have the 4-hole bracket, and then the corner bracket. So now I will flip this over and install the seat pan. And I had to move this bar up 1 because I had it 1 hole back too far. But now I think everything will fit. Let's see. So now that I have everything where it should be, where I got the bars in the right spot, on the back there and on the middle. So now I can tighten everything up. So I think I have everything tight, and I didn't tighten these longer bolts because these are the bolts that hold the pillow blocks for the axle. In the assembly video, you're supposed to torque each bolt down to around 18 foot-pounds or more. Oh, also on the floor pan, I had to make sure I went over, under, over, under. Otherwise, the seams wouldn't match up. For the axle assembly, we have a lock collar, a pillow block with the set screw towards the outside of the cart. Then we have another lock collar, the brake with the hub to the left, and then another pillow block with the set screw to the outside of the cart that way. Then another lock collar, the sprocket with the hub to the right, and 3 more lock collars. Set this axle on here. So now I'll slide the axle back all the way to the back and then snug it up. So now I will install these spindles, and they come with these plastic bushings. Now I'll mount the front wheels with the valve stems facing out. So now for the steering, and you can tell the steering brackets because they have 4 holes and then they have an angled bottom. So you have a mounting tab on both sides. For the steering shaft, we have one lock collar, then the short steering shaft mount, then the long steering shaft mount, and then another lock collar. So the short mount to the front. Then we have the upper brackets. Then we have the kill switch. I go ahead and ground my wire on one of the steering bolts. So for these tie rod ends, I made sure the ends were screwed in all the way. So I got everything tight, and I pushed the steering shaft up and then locked these lock collars in place. So now I'll make sure one of the wheels is straight. I'll move this tie rod in until this pitman arm here is vertical or straight. Okay, so I got the wheel straight and the pitman arm straight. So now I'll lock it down right here. So now I'll do the same to the other side, straighten out this wheel. So that's nice and straight. So I'll lock that one down. I went ahead and installed the armrest bars. So you got the 2 here, and then the build, break, repeat on the right side. Then we have the seat brackets, and these are also angled. So the seat back uses these smaller 40mm bolts. So I got the wheels bolted on. I used a keyway and a collar, and I offset the collar so the keyway holes up here, so it holds the keyway in. And then I put the bolt right to the edge, right where the nylon starts to grab the thread, maybe just a little bit after. And I did the same on the other side. So now I'll go ahead and center this axle. Loosen up these set screws on these pillow blocks. While I'm over here, might as well throw the steering wheel on here. So on the foot pedals, I had to add 4 washers between the frame and the pedal. Then I added the pedal stops and the cable mounts. And then the same on this side. Oh, and the spring. On the brake, it's just one of the standard bolts, but then we use a nylon lock nut. So now I tighten down the lock collar, or snug the lock collar just a little bit, and then I slide over the brake and get it in alignment with the brake band. And I get it where it needs to be, and then move it back. And then now I can tighten down the collar right where it needs to be. And then once I got the collar tight, I can slide the brake back over there and tighten it down. And then I slide over my other lock collar and turn it so it doesn't let the keyway slide out. And tighten it up right there. And then I run the brake cable then I use a 40mm bolt with a nylon lock nut. Okay. Then I take this cable and I snake it through the frame. So then I add a bolt through the cable and then a lock nut. And snug these jam nuts up in the middle, just so you can have adjustment either way. And the same here on the back, so we're not riding the brake. And I did the same thing on the throttle cable. So I went ahead and ran some wire loom for the kill switch, just to make it look nice, because you know, it's got to look good. So I'll bolt the seat down, and I got to be careful not to drill too far into the padding. And I'll do the ones underneath. So on this engine, I had to put the chain guard bolts on first before I installed the clutch. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get them on there. Install this chain on here and align this sprocket. So the kit comes with a few inches too much chain. So I'll have to cut that with my chain breaker, which is easy enough. So right here, I could use a master link, but since I have the chain breaker, I'll just go ahead and put the chain together without a link. Yeah, the chain breaker makes it super easy, or you don't have to use a link if you don't want to. So now I'll go ahead and align my sprocket, get it where I want it, and then tighten it up here on the axle. And I got these tight. I can move over my locking collar again, and I make sure I cover the part with the keyway so the keyway doesn't come out. And somehow I have an extra locking collar on here. I already have one on the wheel. I'll just put it on there anyway for some added safety. So now that I have my sprocket aligned and everything tight, I'll set my chain tension here. Just a little bit of play in here, and tighten up this engine. So we got the chain just about right. So on this corner motor mount bolt here, I had to use a wrench underneath instead of a socket to fit because of that plate. So I got these bolts loose enough where I can slide this chain guard on here. And then once you get it on here, it's easy enough to get to these bolts. The throttle cable. You see if we got full throttle here. Press this pedal down. Okay, yep, there we go. That'll work. So on this kill switch wire, I'm going to add a plug to plug into the motor or the engine here. I'm not sure if the kit came with a plug. I have a tendency to lose stuff when I'm putting one of these together. But anyway, I'm putting my own plug on here. And if it doesn't have a plug, All you really have to do is splice the wire together. There we go, a nice shrink-wrapped plug. And I can just plug it into the engine here. So now I will lube up this chain and this clutch bushing and then add some engine oil and some gas, and I think we'll be good to go. So that went together fairly easy, but I did end up with a couple extra bolts and washers. I mean, it must be extra hardware, because I sure don't know where they go. But it actually turned out pretty good for doing it by memory. So you figure with less hardware, that's less weight, so the cart will be faster. Man, brakes work great. That thing's fun! So the cart runs great for just a 98cc, and the brakes are fantastic. But if you did want to make it run faster, I'm sure you could probably get it to do around 50 miles an hour like I did with this Rascal Lite. I have the same engine on this bike, and with a few mods, this thing hit over 50.